You have absolutely no legal right to padlock this building. I demand you open it this instant.
Cold air bit my cheeks, and the porch lights at the council hall flicked like a slow alarm. I smelled wet asphalt and cheap coffee from the security guard's cup. Then I saw it. A fat silver padlock chained across the council hall porch doors, a zip-tied sign that read closed by HOA for 48 hours. It was May 3rd, 2024, 6:15 a.m., and our neighborhood safety meeting was supposed to start at 7. Moms with strollers stood in the parking lot. Seniors shivered under the overhang. The guard shrugged. "Not my lock," he said. The chain clanked in the wind. I pulled my hoodie tighter and felt my jaw set like a car jack. This is about how HOA padlocked the council hall porch for 48 hours. Then I pulled the Lien. Our board president, Karen with the clipboard, paced by the curb giving orders like she owned the building. She told us the porch was off limits because of a vague permit. So our meeting, the one we reserved with a deposit of $250, was dead. I tried to reason. "We're on the calendar. We have insurance. We need the ramp open." She smirked and said the porch is common area to us now. Neighbors looked down at their shoes. Someone muttered, "Don't push it." She files complaints. Timeline item 1, April 5th at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. We all remembered the flashing lights that morning. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. I breathed in, slow. No yelling. No bolt cutters. Proper channels only. That was my line in the sand. I went home, sat at my kitchen table, and opened my laptop. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I printed the reservation receipt stamped April 10th, 2024, 9:0 p.m. I added 7 neighbor statements with times and dates. Then I hit the county recorder's site. I typed our HOA's legal name and the parcel for the clubhouse. I looked for fines, liens, anything. When the PDF loaded, the file landed with 63 pages. I made a fresh pot of coffee and started reading. Page 12 grabbed me by the collar. An unpaid contractor bill for a ramp repair at the clubhouse. Recorded as a lien against the HOA common property on February 28, 2024, amount $1,900. The work was tied to ADA access, and the HOA had certified to the city that all public events they sponsored would keep accessible routes open. The next move had to be clean. I called the council clerk at 10:02 a.m. on May 3rd and asked for the facility use contract. She emailed it at 10:07. Clause 6 said, "Event sponsor must not impede ingress or egress to the porch or ramp." I wrote a simple letter. The HOA, as sponsor, obstructed the porch and ramp without cause, breaching Clause 6 and endangering attendees, especially those listed as needing accommodations. I attached the lien, the contractor invoice, our deposit, and a photo of the chain. I kept the tone boring. Boring wins. Then I drove to City Hall and filed it at the front desk. The clerk raised her eyebrows at the padlock shot. I also sent a courtesy copy to the building inspector, the city attorney inbox, and the HOA's insurance listed on the public certificate. No threats, just facts and timestamps. At 1:45 p.m., I got a call from the inspector. He said he'd be at the porch by 3:50 p.m. I stood with my binder as neighbors gathered again. Karen was already there, arms crossed, sunglasses on, talking into her phone. She spotted me and said meeting is canceled, again. I said we'll wait. The inspector's white truck rolled in at 3:00 p.m., followed by one patrol car, lights not flashing, just present. The inspector asked who placed the padlock. Karen said the HOA controlled the porch because we rent the hall for events. The inspector pointed at the contract printout in my binder and then at the city's metal placard by the door. "That porch belongs to the city," he said. "You don't control it." He asked for the key. Karen said no key on me. He glanced at the ramp and the chain. He asked if the HOA had unresolved access work. I slid the page across. He read the lien record silently, tapped the date with his pen, and sighed. Contract breach and obstruction. He turned to the officer and said we're posting a notice. Phones came out fast. Neighbors filmed. Someone whispered this is better than cable. A teenager did a running commentary into his mic, naming the time as 3:16 p.m. and screaming let the porch go. The officer asked everyone to step back. Calm, no drama. The inspector taped a bright orange notice on the glass. Obstruction order lifted by city. Porch access required. He snipped the zip tie on the sign and slid the chain off like a lazy snake. People clapped. Karen tried to declare a private HOA session. The clerk from inside the hall opened the door and said our 3:30 p.m. safety meeting is still booked. Come in, folks. The internet did its thing by sunset. A neighbor posted the clip. By 9:00 p.m., there were 12,000 views. And comments like this is what happens when paperwork meets ego. The board's group chat leaked. Someone showed me 3 screenshots where Karen told the board to lock the porch to make a point and scare me off the agenda item about fines. She actually typed let them stand in the lot. It's leverage. That hit harder than any chain. On Monday, May 6th, at 8:45 a.m., the city attorney's office emailed that they were reviewing potential municipal violations. The police sent a courtesy note. They'd logged 2 prior false report calls tied to the same number. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. The building inspector forwarded a summary to the council liaison and the insurer. The insurer asked for a statement and flagged possible noncompliance. The clerk set a special agenda item for May 14th at 6:00 p.m. to review the HOA's standing as a sponsor. That meeting was the flip. I showed up in a clean shirt, no signs, just the binder. I handed copies to the dais. The council listened. Karen tried to wave it off as a misunderstanding. Then the clerk read my timeline out loud. Timeline item 1, April 5th at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. Timeline item 2, April 10th at 9:00 p.m. deposit paid. Timeline item 3, May 3rd at 6:15 a.m. porch padlocked. Timeline item 4, May 3rd at 3:00 p.m. city inspector restores access. Then the council liaison held up the lien page. He said, for the record, this is the HOA's debt. Under Clause 6, they promised access. You can't block a ramp to win an argument. The council voted 4-0 to revoke HOA sponsor privileges for 90 days, refer the false call pattern to the city attorney, and require a corrective plan. The board held an emergency session that night. Karen resigned as president before midnight. Since then, peace feels weird, but good. The porch is open. Meetings run on time. The HOA mailed refunds to 5 groups and issued a written apology. They paid the contractor and cleared the lien within 2 weeks. Our fines committee got reset with 2 new volunteers who actually smile. Karen keeps to herself, which is fine. Last Saturday, I watched kids chalk hopscotch squares on the porch while an old neighbor waved at me with his cane. He said you didn't yell. You just outpapered her. I laughed. Boring wins. If you're wondering, I even sent Karen a photo of the new ramp flowers with a simple message. Let's not padlock people again. Then I closed my binder and put it back on the shelf, right between utility bills and recipes, where good fights go when they're over. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.